What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, I want to speak on a recent post that I seen about it was Michael Jordan made a statement about Larry Bird, right? And Larry Bird was known for being like a great trash talker in the NBA. And so now Mike's statement was Larry Bird is the greatest trash talker and mind game player of all time. He taught me everything I know about getting in folks' heads, right? And so I thought that was a great statement. And Larry Bird and Michael Jordan, man, I just think that the thing about Larry Bird, and what I liked about Larry Bird is not only did he talk stuff, but he just backed it up. And so it didn't really matter if you talk trash, it didn't mean anything if you couldn't back it up. And that's the thing about Larry Bird. They say that Larry Bird would tell you what he was going to do to you, where he was going to shoot from, and then he would do exactly what he said he was going to do and shoot from there, and what nothing you could do about it. And so, and he played with some dudes, man, like that was like some bad dudes. And he would talk that kind of, talk that stuff and then back it up. He played against Dominique Wilkinson. Michael Cooper was like a defensive, was a defensive genius back in those days. Um, Dr. J, and for this guy to couldn't jump, wasn't fast, and was telling you what he was going to do, that's just unheard of. Like he had, he wasn't fast, he couldn't jump, but he just, I guess he did know how to get into people's minds because nowhere in the world, you can be able to tell somebody what you're going to do and just, especially a professional athlete. It's not like he out on the playground. He's doing this to other people who get paid, people who do this for a living. And he making these guys look like they're a bunch of gas station attendants, man. And so he backed it up. And like Mike said, when you most people say that Mike wasn't really a trash talker, but Mike knew how to get in your head. Like Mike played mind games. I heard a few ball players say that like Mike would be nice to you before the game, shake your hand and say all these niceties to you before the game started. And then as soon as they toss that ball up, Mike is trying to kill you. And they say you kind of in shock because you didn't expect that, especially your first time playing against Mike. You'd be caught off guard. And Mike just would try to kill you out there after he didn't got you to let down your guard a little bit. And now he's out there dominating you, and most people never recover from that, because once Mike get that mental edge on you, he got you. He just basically he got you. And so that's what I used to like about basketball back in the days. Like when you watch like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and all those guys, man, they just they just it was more than just physical. Basketball was more than just physical. It was a mental aspect of it. That's why I used to see like in the playoffs, like one team, I like how can a team get blown out by like 20, 25 points one game and come back the next game and blow out another team? Because it was mental, you know what I mean? And teams made adjustments and they was just determined not to lose the next game or determined to win the next two games. And it's mental. And a lot of these ball players of the day, they just don't really get it like that. The strategy of the game is for them. It's more physical. The highlight dunks, the 3-point, the long distance three, no mid range game. Like the last ball player I really seen in the league with like with great footwork, in my opinion, was Kobe Bryant. You know, I can't think of, and let me know if you all can think of somebody who came after Kobe who has that kind of footwork. But Kobe footwork was just what was off the charts. And some people say Kobe's footwork was even better than Mike's, and I kind of agree with that. Like Kobe footwork was just, I mean, he had so many moves. You know, his footwork was great. I think if looking back at Mike's footwork and then looking back at Kobe's footwork, and I'm like, wow, how did he get that shot off, or how did he get positioned to get that shot off? Kobe's footwork was just crazy. It was just crazy. Another basketball player that had that kind of footwork was had great footwork was Hakeem Olajuwon. You know, people always talk about his footwork. The guy who played for the Boston, so Kevin McHale, his footwork was crazy. You know, man, and it's just crazy, man. You know, like the way those guys played in the day, man. You know, like the science, like the science of the game for people to actually learn their position. You know, it's, you know, they try to make basketball nowadays like everybody can do all one position. You know, stretch, whatever, you know, stretch 4, stretch 5. You know, and that's when you got the big men shooting the jumpers and stuff like that. When they have 3 and 4 inch height advantage over you and they still shooting jumpers, it's just crazy, you know. But in order for people like Larry Bird to gain an advantage, they had to play the mental game too, you know. Well, in order for them to be dominant as they were, it wasn't just about their physical abilities. And so you'll find out that in sports, not just basketball, but the best athletes are the ones who are intelligent and the ones who are crafty and the ones who know how to think. You know, it's just not a physical game. These, you know, basketball, baseball, football, you know, anything, boxing, you know, it's these guys are very intelligent. You know, they know their game. It's like a art to them, a craft. You know, Tom Brady and people like that, man. And so, but you're not that, you know, and you're not getting that in today's NBA. And I think that's why that's one of the reasons, in my opinion, that you know, the game is falling. You know, the ratings are low because you don't get that. You know, it's the science of the game. Even the fans knew, they understood what they was looking at. You know, they knew that, like, the little small intricacies of what we was looking at, the strategies and stuff like that. Even if you wasn't qualified to be out there, but you do, you know, you knew what you was watching, and that was what made basketball exciting. And really, you're not getting that. So yeah, man, I think when Mike said that about Larry Bird, that Larry Bird taught him how to play the mind game and stuff like that, that was big, man, because Mike learned from his peers. And then, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, these guys are very intelligent. You know, they watch each other, they study each other, you know, and then that's what made the NBA like the product that it was back in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. You know, that's what made it that product, you know, so great. And yeah, so I can see why Mike said Larry was that dude when it came to talking trash and getting in people's heads. And Mike wasn't the only one. You know, Larry Bird said this. I mean, Dominique Wilkinson said the same thing about Larry Bird. Isaiah Thomas said the same thing. Magic said the same thing. So it wasn't, you know, these guys, man, they all just learned from each other. You know, they learned from each other and they watched each other and they studied each other and they made it hard for each other to win, you know, championships and stuff like that. But, you know, they did what they did. And so, yeah, that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. And with that being said, don't forget to leave a comment and I will check you all out in the next video. Peace.